Jessica! Love you, dude. All right, Penny.
Okay. Please bow your heads for opening prayer. Dear God, please bless us as we pass over on another chapter in our life. Help us make the right decisions and guide us if we make the wrong. Help us follow our dreams and try to do the things we thought were impossible. And help us do the thing we love and share it with our friends and families and people we don't even know. And help us accomplish our difficult tasks in life and help us achieve greater things in life. Help us have faith and hope that we will do the things we strive for. Amen. You may be seated.
I get the distinct pleasure of welcoming you to Manal School and this wonderful Rite of Passage ceremony. This ceremony is especially awesome for me because these 8th graders that are now moving on to 9th grade represent my first 6th grade class here at Manal School. So could you please just again give them a round of applause, give yourselves a round of applause. And welcome.
to our current 8th graders, rising fast to be 9th graders, parents, friends, extended family, and of course, the Manal faculty and staff. What a grand day it is to mark the passage from middle school to upper school. We are here to celebrate a moment of transition from youth to young adult, from prepubescent to adolescent, from medium expectations to high expectations. As we like to remind all the freshmen that from now on, it counts. It's all part of your permanent record in high school. So today I want to talk about permanent record and legacy. I'm going to do that by sharing with you a poem. And I've shared this poem with only one other person in my life, and that's my eldest son, Lindy, when he went off to Abu Dhabi to grad school. For him, it marked moving from truly somewhat dependence to complete independence. And I visited his small graduate school apartment on his wall, and on his wall are only two things, a calendar and this poem. This poem is about living a good life and leaving a legacy, a permanent record we can all be proud of. And it's called If. It was written by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, but not deal in lies, or being hated. Don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you have given your life to broken and stoop down and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one toss, one turn, a pitch and toss, and lose, and start again from the beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk to crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose a common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, all may count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a woman or a man, my daughter and my son. Well, this poem's about growing up. It's about staying true to yourself. That despite the lies of others, you stay true. Despite losing a fortune, that you stay true. Despite gaining a fortune, you stay true. Despite people blaming you for things you didn't do, you stay true. Despite triumph or disaster, you stay true to who you are and what you want to accomplish. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here before us a group of young men and women who are going to lead us someday. And I am proud to call them, I don't know, we should have a better name than Rite of Passengers. Or should we say passengers? I'm proud to call you guys Manal students and have been with you for these past 3 years, or 2 years, or 1 year. So, My next job is to introduce someone who's going to be far more profound than I and is more interesting than I. This is Mr. Willie Chavez. He's a class of 1971, whom I met over 8 years ago when I was interviewing for the position of head of school. He was on the committee. Right away, Willie impressed me with his profound passion for Manal School and his commitment. I later learned that Willie is a distinguished scientist who works for the Department of Energy. He is at Los Alamos. He is their nuclear programs manager, which if you ask him more, he can't tell you. He is also a very faithful member of Second Presbyterian Church. But his roots are northern New Mexico, and this is how I know. I visited his farm. It's a little hobby farm, but he has cows, horses, pigs, dogs, cats, fruit trees for acres, turkeys, chickens, list goes on. His kids all get up early in the morning before they come to school to work his little hobby farm. But Willie has served our community in lots of ways. As a former board member with the Booster Club, he is the guy on the sidelines of every event taking pictures. And we always appreciate, and I know the athletes appreciate getting those. And most importantly, Willie and his family show up. They come to events. If there's a Manila event, they're there. And that attitude of service he's passed on. His daughter, Amiko, who's also a Manal graduate, has been serving for the past few years as our middle school track coach. And so I love to see that legacy of serving and showing up passed on. And I think Willie is proudest of that, of his many accomplishments. So it's a great pleasure and honor to introduce to you our own Mr. Willie Chavez.
Thank you. As you get older, some of you will discover that you need to use these. But I wanted to say I'm very pleased to be here, and such is the graciousness of the staff here and the administration. They've allowed me to speak to you on this very, very special occasion, and I'm very grateful for that. So I want to congratulate you. This is all about you. I want to congratulate each one of you for what you have done. You've gotten to this point from the 8th grade or starting through kindergarten, getting to this point, and now going into high school. And it's a remarkable accomplishment. Don't take away anything from that accomplishment. Too often, we don't celebrate enough of our accomplishments. And I know that your parents or your family members are very, very proud of you. So again, this day is all about you, and I'm proud about each one of you and your accomplishments. Why don't you give yourselves a round of applause? So I'll give you a short introduction about my background, and I'll tell you why or how Manal School has influenced my family and my life. In total, there are about 19 members of my family that have come to this school and that have done exceptionally well because of this school. As was mentioned, I'm a nuclear scientist, and I work in nuclear programs at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. And that didn't come easy, but as a personal story, I want to tell you how I got there. When I was born in Denver, Colorado. I grew up in Denver, Colorado, in some fairly, what I would call fairly awful circumstances. We lived in a gang area, and that's the kind of life that I knew. And one day, one of the gang members came to my house, came inside, And he said to me, he was pretty bold to do this, he said to me, "I'm going to kill you." And my parents said, "Enough, you're going to Manal School." So I was on the next Greyhound bus, at that time, not blind, Greyhound bus, and the rest is pretty much history. The teachers here, for me, it was the first time I could actually study, and I discovered that I had a talent for math and science. And it wasn't because of me, it was because of the teachers here. They took an interest in me. The long and short of it is, some of these teachers took time to help me actually fill out the forms to go to college. I anticipated that I would go back to Denver, go back to gang violence, go back to nothingness. What I eventually did was go on to university. Well, enough about me. This is about you. Why is this celebration so important? Well, some of you have really just excelled, not just in your academics, but in sports activities. I've seen some of you behind the camera lens, and it's just wonderful. It's wonderful to see that kind of achievement. And so what I want to leave you with is, in order to be good or to be great at anything, you have to have a concentration of will and an energy of soul. It takes persistence. Most people that progress in this life or that do something wonderful, it's not because they're exceptionally talented. It's because of their persistence. They stay with it. And that's my message to you. Just stay with it. Even if you fail, because that in itself is an accomplishment, even if you fail. So my advice is, work with your teachers, study hard, enjoy what you do in life, enjoy your high school education, but seek advice from your teachers, from your fellow students. So also, I wanted to mention, why is Manal important to you? Well, you may not realize this, but you go to a school that has some of the smallest classes in the entire state. It's a wonderful thing because you're almost getting tutorials on each subject. The other thing is that Manal School does not apologize, and they do not shy away from teaching morals and ethics and religion. And those are basic tools that each of us need in order to fulfill our lives, to do the very best in our lives. Well, while there are many, many success stories about Manal graduates, people coming from Manal School, I want to share one with you. In the 1980s, there was an orphan that came to Manal School, and he graduated from Manal School. He went on to medical school, and then became a transplant specialist. And one day, one of his patients came in, had to have a transplant, and lo and behold, after he conducted the transplant, he found out that this person, who was also a doctor, but a PhD, he was not a medical doctor, he found out that this person was also a Manal graduate. So you never know how your paths will cross. You never know what good things you do will help others. Keep that in mind. So some final thoughts for you. Do any of you remember who won Pulitzer Prize or Nobel Prize, or who are the 10 wealthiest people in the world? I don't remember those things. But the one thing that's really important is that the people that reach those high limits or those high achievements, they, as I mentioned, they are persistent. They have a concentration of will, and they strive toward excellence, toward doing things in the very best way that they can. The other thing is, can you think about, name 3 teachers that have helped you during your education? Can you also think about a few people that have made a difference in your life, that care about you, that care about what happens, including your family? Well, when you think about this, what really matters in this life are those people that care about you. And I venture to say that some of those people are your teachers here at Monroe School. They make a huge difference for you. So with that, I'd like to leave you with, it is a passage from Isaiah 40. I'm sorry, it's Isaiah 40. And it reads, "It gives strength to the weary and increases power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." So I say to you, celebrate this occasion, because you only go through this one time in life. And I'm expecting to see many of you, if not all of you, in the future years here at Monroe School. Congratulations.
So now we get to it. At this time, we're going to present certificates to our 8th graders. When they come up the stairs, there'll be an 8th grader. When they go down and greet their teachers, he'll be here to greet them. You'll have passed to upper school. Yes, give yourself a hand. Exactly. Mr. Darrell Bryant, our dean of our middle school, will be handing the children their certificates, and their teachers will be greeting them down here. If you guys wait for them when they get. Are we ready? Are you ready to go to upper school? Okay, here we go. Miss Corinna Aguilar. Mawadi Anaya Green. Esperanza Astorga. Octaviano Berenger. Tessa Cobell. Pandora Kellywood. Abigail Clark. Esai Morales. Jessica Rose Nunez. Victor Oliva. Evan Schultz Weeks. Sabrina Moragas. Leon Vihim. Cody Vineyard. And Meredith Watson. As I'm sure you will join us in celebrating this rite of passage. Now all you parents have high school students. Yes, there they are. We'd like to invite you after this ceremony to join us in the Commons. You'll have some light refreshments there. And at this time, if Mr. Behringer would come and close us.
I apologize if I stutter. You can be seated, by the way. Please bow your heads for a closing prayer. Dear Lord, thank you today for our accomplishments, for stepping out of our shells, being released into a new chapter of our lives. For knowing we might not be as perfect as you, but here, right now, we feel that we are at our finest, our turning point, that we share with you our gifts, and that we have another great 4 years here or elsewhere. Thank you for leading us into our end path, middle school, and showing us a new path. And all of God's people said, please remain seated while our class of 2018 leads us out.
And so we give you the rising class of 2018.
Grab my food.
go.